Troll Nation, welcome back to Telesplash Gaming. Thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me today. It is greatly appreciated. In today's video, I'm talking about some of my own favorite YouTube channels. You know, just because I do my own and I do my own videos on top 10 lists and this and that, doesn't mean that I don't love watching other creators. And so today I want to go over some of my personal favorite YouTube channels. Now, this isn't all of them. This is just the ones that on the top of my head I just came to and said, I've got to talk about these guys. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So starting off, we're going to start with the big dog. We're going to start with Metal Jesus. Now, I think most people that are into gaming channels on YouTube have seen some of his content. What drew me to him was that he reminds me of like your neighbor, like your uncle, a good friend. He just seems like a really cool, laid-back dude that just loves gaming. And so I think I watched him and Drunken Master Paul one day, and I was like, these are some cool guys. Like, they just have great chemistry, and I love his whole Metal Jesus crew. They're all fantastic. He has a good mixture of personalities and gaming ideas and backgrounds, and so I love everybody in his group. And you know, Metal Jesus has put out some really good hidden gems videos and kind of rare game consoles. I mean, he just covers everything gaming, from games to consoles to conventions to just, you know, anything and everything, and I really love that about him. So he's, you know, worked for Sierra for a long time, so he has a background in the industry, and I think he had more of a computer background and then kind of got into console gaming. So it's a fun channel to watch, and it's great seeing, you know, his reaction to a lot of stuff happening. Piggybacking off of that, I'm going to go with a couple guys that are part of his crew. I could have picked anybody from Kelsey to Kinsey to John Hancock. I love them all, but I had to go first with Radical Reggie. You know, Radical Reggie is just such a nice guy. He just seems like a cool guy. He just seems like a guy that I want to hang out with and play games with. He just loves gaming so much, and he shows such, you know, passion when it comes to games. And I love his breaking the seal videos where it shows him actually opening a game for the first time, and sometimes they're new, and I think he's done some that are older. He does the pickup videos, but you know, everything he does is just passionate, and that's what I really love about Reg, is he just does everything wholeheartedly, and it's really cool to see that. He's a true gamer at heart, and just started picking up a camera one day and filming, and I'm really glad that he's part of the Metal Jesus crew, and he's gotten a lot of exposure from that. Next up is, you know, John Blue Riggs. Now, first off, John is a family man, got a couple kids. You know, they're part of his channel. I love seeing his daughters on his videos. They're always in the background, kind of dinking around, doing some fun stuff, and that's really cool that he lets them be part of his channel. So I like that about him, you know, first and foremost, is that he just seems like a really cool family man, good guy. And he's also a DJ, you know, part-time, full-time, so he's got another job he's doing on top of his channel, but he really does some cool stuff. He does the open cart surgeries. And what he does with that is he'll take these old games that aren't running or working, I mean, and he'll tear them apart, pull the motherboard out, resolder stuff, clean them, do what it takes to get them working again. He'll pop them into the console, and more often than not they work, but sometimes they don't. But it's fun to see people send him random stuff, and he tries to fix it and just kind of talk about, you know, what he's doing. He, you know, also does certain reviews on videos or games and unboxings on consoles and things like that. So he does a lot of stuff, but his you know, his repairing of the game cartridges themselves are really entertaining. So I really enjoy watching that. Next up is another big dog, and that's, you know, Cinemassacre. Now, when I first started watching these guys, it was Angry Video Game Nerd. That's what I watched, the AVGN. And I thought he was a legit nerd. Like, I didn't think this was an act. I thought this was a guy who literally had never seen the sun before and spent his whole time just in his basement gaming. But as I've watched it, obviously, that's just James portraying a really cool character on screen. And so with a film background, he does some really cool editing stuff. He has really good production, and you know, doing my own channel now, I don't know, he does some stuff that I'm like, wow, I'm even more impressed now that I'm doing a few basic things. The stuff he does is super advanced, and I love watching it. So the Angry Video Game Nerd, what can I say? It is hilarious, you know, pretty crude, not for every audience, not for all ears, but man, it's so funny. He does such a good job of basically portraying into lots of bad words and terrible language how we feel about some of these games from our past. And you know, he specializes in retro games, but he does play some other games, and his James and Mike Monday series is fantastic. You know, he'll play games with his buddy Mike Matei, and they play every Monday. They put a video out with them playing a game, whether it's new or old, and it's just cool to see a couple guys playing games together. Next up is a true nerd, Cygnus the Destroyer. This guy does the Innocent Until Proven Guilty series, and I love it. He covers bad games, tries to shed a new light, bring them out from the darkness, and say, you know, these aren't all that bad. Now, he doesn't say they're not bad, he doesn't say they're good, but he just says there's some redeeming qualities, and he really specializes in LGN games, which Angry Video Game Nerd, he hates LJN. Cygnus the Destroyer, he defends them. So it is fun to see his opinion on LJN games. Most of them are terrible, but he does a good job of kind of defending them and, you know, saying they're innocent until proven guilty, and it's a fun channel. So he covers everything from like 8-bit to 64-bit, so definitely a retro gaming channel. Moving on to another big one, and that's Watch Mojo. Now, it's hard to not pay attention to them. They have really great lists, and they're always top 10s. And it usually is games, movies, and music, and I really like watching their movies and their games, so I'll pop in and watch their videos occasionally, and it's fun. They're quick, they're great, they cover a broad variety. It's not just your basic 10 great SNES games. I mean, they do that, but they also cover some really odd ones, so I really enjoy watching Watch Mojo. They have just really fun production, great quality, and they cover some really cool topics in gaming, and it's a quick watch, so you can pop in, watch them really fast, kind of get a quick list together, and, you know, fill your mind with that and head out. Oh, the old Batman and Robin, the dynamic duo of gaming off the grid. Now, I love these guys. They're a new channel. They're about as old as I am in terms of how long they've been on YouTube. You know, this year we both started, and I've really been watching them since the beginning. They have a great channel. They're called Gaming Off the Grid because they don't really believe in online gaming. At least on the channel, they don't believe in online gaming. They believe in sitting down with your buddy, drinking a beer, and playing games the way they were supposed to be played. Hanging out with your friends, laughing, messing around, making fun of each other, and that's exactly how me and my friends play when we're together. So I enjoy watching them do their game reviews, their console reviews. They've grown up gaming, and they just have a lot of knowledge when it comes to that. They have a great game room, and for being a new channel, they have great production, really cool setup, and they also have a kind of unique niche where they also review a new beer on every single episode. So they talk about a beer on top of their gaming. So it's kind of fun. They'll go through and talk about the flavors and this and that. And I'm not a huge beer guy, but they make me want to go drink some IPAs. So that being said, check out their channel. They're new. They definitely deserve some love, and I feel like they're going to be growing exponentially once more people start watching their channel. What's Good Games? Now, this one's actually fairly new to me, but from what I've seen so far, I love it. Basically, this group of people came together from different channels and different areas from what it sounds like, and they created their own channel, and it's been really cool. They have like podcasts, they do like a round table where there's more than one, they have like 3 or 4. They also have just a couple, but they just talk about conventions and games. I mean, all things gaming, like they cover everything. There's not like one specific topic, they just cover gaming as a whole. And it's a really fun podcast, great discussion, good humor. They just have really good chemistry as a whole, and I just really have enjoyed watching them in the last couple months. So What's Good Games, you know, really good channel, fun group, and just great personalities. Another one that I've been watching from the beginning is Stop Skeletons from Fighting. Now, Stop Skeletons from Fighting started off as kind of like an angry video game, like, not knockoff because it was the opposite. He was like the happy video game nerd, where he would play games and say, why do you gotta be so angry all the time? And he would drink wine instead of beer, so a little more sophisticated. But what I loved about it is it was kind of cheesy, but it was kind of funny, and the production quality was really low at the time. But you know what? He stuck with it, and now it has become a really good channel. And he covers some really cool stuff from, like, you know, really in-depth in Silent Hill. He talks about like Resident Evil ports to like Game Boy. I mean, just some really cool stuff that I didn't know about. You know, he gets deep into the expansion pack for the N64. So, you know, that's a really fun channel, and they've really grown, and I really enjoy watching him. They do a good job. Up next is the Gaming Historian. Now, I really appreciate the Gaming Historian because he does all of his stuff like documentary style, like you're watching a History Channel documentary on video games. He's done the NES Power Glove, the history of the Dreamcast, his Super Mario Bros. 2 video I think is his most popular, and that was cool because he went in and talked about how Doki Doki Panic, another game, was actually given a Mario skin over here in the US, and it wasn't the true Mario sequel. The Lost Levels, which we got later, was the Super Mario 2, but they thought the game might have been too hard for the American audience. So it was kind of cool. It was a fun video, and so I really appreciate how much, you know, in-depth analysis he gives. And he doesn't put a video out every week. I think he has so much research he has to do that. But it's really cool. He does a great job. I love watching these gaming documentaries, and every one of his videos like that. Next up is a guy who is a glutton for punishment. Gerard Dragon Rider Khalil, the completionist. I don't know how he does it. He doesn't beat games, he completes them. He has to get that completionist trophy. It's insane. He literally puts himself through hell on some of these games to get every collectible, everything done. And you know what? It makes for great YouTube viewing. It's something that I really have no desire to ever do. I love playing games and I love beating games, but once I see the end credits, I'm usually okay with it, but not him. He goes through and collects every book and spider and orb and collectible and comic or whatever it is. So it's really cool. And then he has a neat review system where he says it's worth completing, or just finish the game, or just play the game, or rent it. Like, he doesn't. A lot of times, I mean, it's crazy. Like, the stuff he does. Check it out if you haven't, because it's absolutely insane what he actually does and puts himself through. And he does it on a weekly basis, which is even more impractical in my mind, because he does it every week. I can't imagine how many games he is going through. So, whew, not for me. And, certainly last but not least is the Happy Console Gamer. The Happy Console Gamer covers a little bit of everything, including even some anime. He does unboxings, he does game reviews, and I just love that he is a gamer at heart. He started off real simple, just filming himself talking about games, and now he's got a great game room and a great setup, and he gets lots of packages, and he does unboxings, and he's convinced me to buy games. I mean, he convinced me to buy the Shenmue remaster, 1 and 2 for the PS4, because I have never played Shenmue, and I was kind of on the fence, and I watched his review, and he loved it. He was so passionate about the game that I thought, well, I mean, I better try it out, And so I just think it's great. It's a fun channel to watch all of his opinions and all of his stuff. He does a great job. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but it still makes for great, TV or YouTube watching. So the Happy Console Gamer does a really good job, fun channel, and kind of rounds out this list today for me. Alright guys, as always, thanks so much for popping in, spending a few minutes with me today. I appreciate it. If you like the content I've been putting out, please make sure to like and comment and subscribe. And the comment below, let me know what channels you guys love, which channels you can't help but binge watch. I have a lot of channels that I watch, and I would have loved to make, a 30 or 40 on this list, but these are just the ones that I'm really feeling right now and I really enjoy watching. And with that being said, YouTube to me is not really a competition-based platform. I mean, it is because everybody wants views, but there are so many channels and so many people watching channels that I feel like it's great to give shoutouts to my favorites. It's a great way to help kind of this brotherhood of gaming that we're all involved in. And so with that being said, have a great rest of the week, guys, and keep trolling.